When Peter Obi paid a courtesy visit to Issa Pantami, I knew that it is going to rattle a lot of opposition politicians, especially those that are contesting the presidential election with Mr. Peter Obi. So seeing Atiku Abubakar paying a courtesy visit to Issa Pantami barely days after Peter Obi paid a courtesy visit to him shows that Atiku Abubakar is not giving up regarding his presidential ambition. It shows that Atiku Abubakar is going to contest the 2027 presidential election. We will talk about that later. But why are they visiting Issa Pantami? I mean, what is all this courtesy call to him? Who is Issa Pantami? Issa Pantami was a former Minister of Communication and Digital Economy under late President Muhammadu Buhari. This takes us back to how APC was formed. APC is the coming together of different political parties. You have the ACN that was being controlled by Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the southwest. You have the AMPP that was being controlled by late Ogbonnaya Onu. You have APGA that was a breakout led by Owele Rochas Okorocha, the former governor of Imo State. And then you have CPC. CPC was being led by late President Muhammadu Buhari. In the 2011 presidential election, CPC participated in that election. The presidential candidate was late President Muhammadu Buhari, contested against Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Now, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan won that election with a wide margin of vote, but CPC got 11 million votes. Despite losing the election to Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, 11 million votes is not a small vote to get in Nigeria. But when you look at the votes gotten by CPC, majority of that vote came from the northeast and the northwest. That made President Muhammadu Buhari a cult leader. He has a cult followership in the northwest and in the northeast. And of course, he has been participating in different elections in this country, but he was unable to become the president because for you to become the president in Nigeria, you need your followers to be spread across the country. You need to get votes across the country. So 11 million votes was not enough for President Muhammadu Buhari to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, prior to the 2015 presidential election, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and other politicians thought it wise to form an alliance, and they thought it wise that if they could form an alliance with President Muhammadu Buhari, who has an 11 million block vote, the vote from the south is enough to make him the president. So that was the reason why they formed APC and they made President Muhammadu Buhari their presidential candidate. Recall that after the 2011 presidential election, late President Muhammadu Buhari has retired and went home to Daura to rest, but they brought him out of retirement and make him the APC presidential candidate. They did all of this because of the block vote he had. They did all of this because they know that he has a cult followership in the north. They did this because they know that if they can partner with him, that is enough to win the presidential election. And of course, he was announced the winner of the 2015 presidential election and he ruled for 8 years. But President Muhammadu Buhari is no more. He's late and he has gone to the other side of life. On the day of late President Muhammadu Buhari burial, something happened. Atiku Abubakar and other ADC politicians, they attended that burial. After the burial, they walked the streets of Katsina State. Supporters came out on the street and they were waving at them. The reason why Atiku Abubakar did that was to announce to them that President Muhammadu Buhari is no longer around. I, Atiku Abubakar, I am the new sheriff in town. Whatever support, whatever vote you have given to President Muhammadu Buhari over the years should now be transferred to me. I am next in line to inherit late President Muhammadu Buhari block millions of votes. As you can see in this video, you can see the way the people were waving at them. Also recall that the reason why Atiku Abubakar contested the 2023 presidential election was because he believed that since late President Muhammadu Buhari was not on the ballot, that he, Atiku Abubakar, will ultimately inherit late President Muhammadu Buhari block vote in the north. But unfortunately for him, the person he was expecting to be his vice presidential candidate, who is Mr. Peter Obi, did not contest with him. Peter Obi contested in the Labour Party and that led to split of vote. Now, Atiku Abubakar believes solely that since President Muhammadu Buhari is no longer alive, he, Atiku Abubakar, is the rightful owner to his block vote in the north. Of course, so far, there is a formation of ADC, which we are seeing as Atiku-led coalition. So it is obvious that Atiku is very well prepared and ready to contest the 2027 presidential election, but he has a lot of opponents that are challenging him for that. He wants Peter Obi to be his vice presidential candidate, and Peter Obi is also vying for the office of the president. Atiku Abubakar wants to appear as the undisputed northern politician in Nigeria. He believes as a northerner he has the sole right to contest and win an election in Nigeria. Since President Muhammadu Buhari is no longer alive, he has the sole right to inherit his block million votes. So he needs to align with the people that align with late President Muhammadu Buhari. Since Tinubu became the president, there has been a split in APC. Remember I said APC is a formation of different political parties, of which CPC is one of them. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been criticized over time of pocketing APC. He has been criticized of running APC as a one-man show. Other political parties that help in the formation of APC are crying of marginalization. They feel alienated. They feel like APC is nothing but just the ACM arm of APC. That is the reason why you saw someone like El-Rufai leaving the APC to join the SDP, while also forming an alliance with the African Democratic Congress, that is the ADC. You also have the former Minister of Justice under late President Muhammadu Buhari, Malami, that have left the APC and joined the ADC. And then there is Issa Pantami that has equally shown his interest in joining the ADC. Everyone I mentioned so far, from El-Rufai to Malami to Issa Pantami, they are all core members of the CPC. The CPC arm of the APC has equally alleged that the Southern Alliance did not profit President Muhammadu Buhari at all. They allege that it was the vote from the CPC that made President Muhammadu Buhari President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They still see CPC as an indispensable political party that can pull out and form their own political party and win an election in Nigeria. Since the demise of their leader, who is late President Muhammadu Buhari, Issa Pantami is seen as the next in line to late President Muhammadu Buhari. Just like late President Muhammadu Buhari, he is a conservative Muslim. He is a vocal voice in the north. Atiku Abubakar believes that aligning with him is going to sway the vote and support that President Muhammadu Buhari got to his side. So seeing Peter Obi visiting Issa Pantami is like a threat to him, it's like an affront to him. So he's taking the step to go and align with him to discuss about the 2027 presidential election. Atiku Abubakar visiting Issa Pantami is all the indication you and I need to know that Atiku Abubakar is very much interested in contesting the 2027 presidential election. Atiku Abubakar will be on the ballot. This now begs for question, what exactly is Atiku Abubakar coming out to do? We've been asking this question over and over. Why is Atiku Abubakar inserting himself in the 2027 presidential election? Why does he want to disrupt the process? Of course, Atiku Abubakar presence in 2027 presidential election will definitely disrupt the process. He has been doing that over time. Remember, prior to the 2015 presidential election, Atiku Abubakar left the PDP with other PDP politicians, northern politicians and some southern politicians, and they formed the APC. They were very instrumental in the formation of APC. As a matter of fact, Atiku Abubakar contributed hugely in terms of resources to the formation of APC because he believed that he would have gotten the presidential ticket. He thought his money would have bought him the presidential ticket of the APC. But the people that formed the APC were very strategic. They knew that they needed money. They allowed Atiku Abubakar to come into the fold and use his money to sponsor the party. But they knew that money alone will not win them the presidential election. That was the reason they handed the presidential ticket to late President Muhammadu Buhari, because he has a block vote, because they know that he can sway vote to the favor of APC, because they know that he has the number. Unlike Atiku Abubakar, Atiku Abubakar does not have the numbers. Atiku Abubakar cannot win a presidential election in Nigeria. Atiku Abubakar should understand that his time has passed. If he was patient enough to support Goodluck Ebele Jonathan in 2015 to win the presidential election against APC, there would have been no formation of APC today. There would have been no APC today. There would have been no President Muhammadu Buhari. We would not have experienced the wasteful 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari. And by the virtue of the zoning formula in PDP, Atiku Abubakar would have become the president in 2019. And of such, he would have won the election with Peter Obi. he would have equally won 2023 presidential election. By 2027, he would have been thinking of handing over. Atiku Abubakar destroyed his own presidential ambition. But ever since he destroyed his own presidential ambition, he's been trying to destroy other people's presidential ambition. Atiku Abubakar contributed to the suffering that Nigerians are experiencing today. Atiku Abubakar contributed to why Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He has no business contesting the 2023 presidential election. He has no business being on the ballot. Atiku Abubakar was the reason why Peter Obi left the PDP to join the Labour Party. If not for Atiku Abubakar and Nyesom Wike, PDP would have handed the presidential ticket to Mr. Peter Obi, and Peter Obi would have won the 2023 presidential election. Atiku Abubakar being on the ballot and Peter Obi contesting on a different political party led to the split of votes we experienced in 2023. Now there's an ADC-led coalition that the opposition politicians believe that should come together in one umbrella and vote out Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Atiku Abubakar is also trying to cause a distraction. He's trying to cause the split we experienced in 2023. It is not a turn of the north. It is a turn of the south. Majority of Nigerians will prefer to go with Bola Ahmed Tinubu rather than allowing a northerner to take over power away from Bola Ahmed Tinubu. As a matter of fact, they are not born to rule. Nigeria does not belong to them. They have had sway to power for 40 plus years since the independence of this country. They've done absolutely nothing to remedy the situation of this country. They have contributed to the backwardness and destruction of this country. What exactly is Atiku Abubakar coming again to insert himself in a do-or-die presidential election in 2027 that Nigerians are going to experience? Atiku Abubakar should understand that he is not late President Muhammadu Buhari. He should understand that the vote of late President Muhammadu Buhari will not be transferred to him. His time has passed. He should take the back seat, support younger politicians with fresher ideas. He should be an elder statesman. ADC has the opportunity to win the 2027 presidential election if only Atiku Abubakar will not be on the ballot. If Peter Obi is given the presidential ticket, Atiku Abubakar should be looking forward to supporting Mr. Peter Obi rather than himself contesting as the presidential candidate. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.